Yes, my mom attempted to whip my ass, but your girl became a trash star for a reason. She wasn't catching me. It's a story time about how my mom really thought that we went missing, and it's probably my fault now that I think about it. But I mean, hey, everybody likes to have fun as a kid, so I mean, let's go ahead and get right into it. Make sure you're subscribed to my channel. Make sure you like, comment, all that other good stuff. But let's go ahead and get right into this video. So I would say I was in 2nd grade, and we're probably living out in Chesterfield at the time. And let me see, so I was like around 2nd grade. That was like 5, 6, 6, 7, 7, 8. So maybe like around 7 or 8. Yeah. And my sister, I mean, she was around, because I'm 5 years older than her, she had to have been around 2 or 3. Is that right? Yeah, she had to have been around like 2 or 3. That sounds about right. So in Hyde Park, if you're not familiar with Hyde Park in Chesterfield, it's pretty much like these townhomes. Everything was close knit. I went to like C.C. Wells around this time. And I had a good amount of friends. If you guys were like me growing up, my bike was my first car. That was my first BMW, my first Mercedes. I don't care what nobody say. So I got in trouble a lot as a kid because I stayed out late, way past my time. And I know most people think, oh, she probably came in after streetlights. No, honey, I'm 7 or 8 years old, like not coming to the house until like midnight or like 1. Yes, my mom attempted to whip my ass, but your girl became a trash star for a reason. She wasn't catching me. So either way, so one night, I cannot remember her name to save my life, but let's just call her Tiana. So Tiana was one of my friends in the neighborhood that I hung out with quite often. She was around my age. However, she wasn't allowed to go outside as often. Her parents were very Christian, and when I say very Christian, I mean to the point where like she can only watch certain cartoons, couldn't really listen to, I guess what you guys would call secular music. She really couldn't listen to nothing like hip-hop too much. There was a whole lot of religious paraphernalia in the house, like everywhere. Compared to my other friends like Dakota was a little white girl I used to hang out with who had like 3 or 4 ferrets. She had these bunk beds. I think she was the only child, and she was so free-spirited, so cool, and I loved her because she was just cool as hell. That girl was spoiled. She had her own computer at the time in her room. And then I had my other friends who were way older than me. I think they were like in the 5th grade, maybe 6th grade. I got hung out with a lot of older kids because I was very mature for my age. So a lot of my friends were older than me. I don't know why, but my mom never understood that either. She was like, they always cling to you for whatever reason. You're so young. And I was just like, maybe it's just my personality. I'm just mature. And I hung out with them from time to time, but they were always on vacation with their family. Another girl, she was young at heart, but she was probably like 13 or 14, but I guess her mom really just treated her like a baby because I was her only one. Her name was actually Mercedes, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, I think her name was Mercedes. And she had like this doll baby-esque vibe to her. She was just the sweetest person ever. Me and her used to play Barbies all the time, so I couldn't complain. Me and her were really, really cool. I'm trying to think of anybody else in that neighborhood. Those are one of also the neighborhoods that I really just, it was all over the place. But getting into the story, so I'm with Tiana, and we're just chilling watching Pink Panther in the house, and I'm hearing her family basically like, oh, you know, we're gonna go to the church tonight because they're having a revival. And if you guys don't know what a revival is, it's basically like Club Jesus. It's where everybody, multiple churches come in and they praise the Lord, and people give sermons. Different pastors or preachers give different sermons, but they're in this one church. And the choirs go off into me, which seems like battle of the choirs. Me personally, growing up, because of my grandmother, I was that church kid. I was always in the church. She forced me to wear those itchy frilly socks that I hated growing up, which I just adore now. She really made me hate dresses and everything. I think she's the reason why I turned into a tomboy at the time. But I knew a lot about Jesus as a kid because, you know, that was just my lifestyle, aside from everything else that I used to just like to do. But going back to Tiana, so we're sitting there chilling. I was probably at her house for maybe like 3 hours just chilling. We ate lunch and everything, and then she was like, so I'm about to leave. I just didn't want our play to end because we were having fun. Mom kind of scared me though, because it seemed like her mom was kind of mean. Like, she just really didn't seem, but it was her dad that was the cool one. It was just her mom was just really intense, like to the point where it was just kind of like, you'd be sitting there next to her,
Tiana, did you do your homework?
And it was just like, if she's about to get her ass whooped, can I leave? Because I don't want to see my friend get her ass whooped. Anyway, but, and I think they were older. That was the thing too. They were a little bit older, so I think they were trying to like make up for, like, you know how most parents that get older and have kids, they don't, you know, for in our eyes, they stop parenting. But let me not say they stop parenting. They just get really laxed. Yeah. So I'm sitting there just chilling, you know, we're watching the Pink Panther, and I had never seen like the whole Pink Panther. And I'm not talking about the live action one. I'm talking about the throwback cartoon that was silent. They only played the music or whatever. So we're sitting there watching that, and then her dad and mom are mentioning a revival, and I was like, where are you about to go? Because she told me she was about to leave, and she was just like, well, we have a revival tonight at church. Yeah, and I was like, well, I want to go. That's cool. So of course her parents were like, well, you know, you got to ask your parents first. We're okay with it. You know, I'm sure any parent wouldn't mind another child going to church. But I was like, okay, cool. I was like, my mom wouldn't care, but they were like, of course, you know, go ask your mom. So I ran and asked my mom. She was like, yeah, that's fine. And then we went back, and then we were talking, me and Tiana, and I think we started playing with some toys. But then I overheard them say that, you know, they might not go, so they're canceling it. So I went back to my mom and said, never. Well, I called my mom at this point, so I was like, never mind, mom, they're canceling it. And she was just like, okay, that's fine. So something happened where she was like, I guess my sister wanted to come outside. And I was like, okay, whatever. So I went and grabbed my sister, and we came back, and we were just chilling. And I overheard her parents, and it was like, well, never mind, we changed our mind again, we're gonna go. Actually, why not, let's just go. So I was like, okay, well, I want to go. And it was like, does your mom know that it's still on? And I was like, yeah, she still knows. So they was like, are you sure? I was like, yeah, that's positive, I'm positive. She said it was okay for me to go. So we go, and we're in a church. And I remember because these prayer dancers come in, they're, you know, doing the whole shackles off my feet so I can dance type of thing. And, you know, the preacher's going on. I'm just laughing and joking with my friend. We're kind of ripping and running through the church. It was a really small church, but it was close-knit. I had my sister next to me, too, so we were all playing. By this time, it's probably like 9:30 going on 10. I guess this was a long revival. They were getting it in this church. I'm talking about Club Jesus in there. I was like, oh my gosh, like, I don't know what church this is, but you know, they praising him up in here. So then afterwards we go and get McDonald's, and we're sitting there, and I'm like, you know, chilling. But there's something, I had this weird urge come over me, and I was just like, as a matter of fact, now that I think about it, it wasn't a weird urge. What the urge was my dumb ass realizing, oh shit, I didn't tell my mom that I was going to church. With my sister at that, and it's late as all get out. So we're sitting at McDonald's and we're eating. It's not really too many people in there. It was just us, and they took us to the store to get some snacks too. So I'm in there with my sister, and we're eating or whatever. And I guess they got a call about, it was a whole bunch of police officers in the neighborhood, and they were like, they were looking for a kid, and it was like, I guess a kid went missing. And I was like, oh, that's scary. Yeah. So we get to the neighborhood, and I'm talking about, like, so the way it was like, as soon as you come into our neighborhood, you kind of go down a hill, and like that first strip of townhomes, we are the one on the far right. I could probably drop a photo in here what it looked like, just to give you guys like a physical representation of what it looks like if they're not knocked down or anything. But we're on that far right of that townhome, and in the middle of the street is like a divider of like just trees, and like just this is a little divider, and in the front of those homes are like the parking spots. So we're coming down the hill, and all we see is like this parade of blue and red and white lights, and they're like all around. People are outside looking for us. Like a few of my friends were even looking for me. This sounds horrible now that I'm talking about this. They're over there like all around looking for me. I'm looking at all these flashlights and everything. So we pull up, and we're like, what in the world? So we get out the car, and my neighbors and stuff, they go in the house. So I got my sister, and we're walking towards the house. You know, my sister got her snacks, I got my snacks. I'm just walking. I'm just like, I don't know what all this is. I'm just looking around like, who's missing? And they was like, Imani, is that you? And I was just like, yeah. And they were just like, oh my God, we were looking for you. We found her. Da, 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 da. She's not missing, everybody. You could go home. Oh my gosh, my baby. Blah, blah. So she's running. She's picking us up. She's kissing me. And I'm just like, Mom, what are you doing? And she was like, where were you? And I was like, I was in church. She was like, what do you mean you were in church? I was like, I was in church listening to Jesus. What else could I possibly have been doing? And she was just like, well, you told me it was canceled. And I was just like, in my head, I was like, yeah, I did. I just didn't feel like coming back to let you know that it wasn't canceled anymore. And of course they freaked out even more because of my little sister. So they were just like, "Come and you have my baby out there." I'm like, "You acting like I had her out there on the streets with prostitutes. I'm over there praising Jesus. She was having a good old time with the Lord, talking to the angels and whatnot. She is fine." And so the guy at the time, my little brother and little sister's father, of course, they was like, "You had us worried. We were out here looking for you." You shut the fuck up. I don't even like you. I don't like you. Okay? Don't talk to me. Don't talk to me. Anyway, and guys, I promise you I wasn't a bad kid. I promise you I wasn't. My mom's stories are way worse than mine. But she was just like, "Girl, I should whoop your ass." I was like, and I used to curse a lot too. So I was like, "You should whoop my ass for me praising Jesus?" I'm gonna get my ass whooped for praising Jesus. I don't think he gonna like that. So, long story short, I told her, I was like, "Well, Mom, I was in church, so I'm getting in trouble for being in church." And she was just like, "I'm not doing this with you, girl. I'm off frazzled or whatever. I just need to go in the house and go get washed up and go to bed." So I was just like, "Okay, I mean, as long as you're not gonna whoop me for being in church, because I don't sound right anyway." But y'all, literally, she had them out there like, "Your girl was missing. Like, Mom, I was in the church praising the Lord. Isn't that where you want me to be?" But now that I see it, now that I have kids, I would definitely be freaking out too if my kids didn't let me know where they were going and they just didn't show up. And I'm like, "Oh my God, the street lights then came on. My babies aren't in the house. Where are my kids?" Yes, I would freak out, and I would probably say the same thing. But I was really just like, I was safe. I was with Jesus. So what are you upset for? But other than that, like, she really thought like something happened to us. Like, she was just like, ugh. Okay, so I'm not gonna lie, I kind of used to do my mom wrong back then, and like, I was really that child that was just like, she'll be okay. I got so many more stories like this. I think that's probably why my mom got bad anxiety now, and that's nothing to joke about. It's really not. I promise you it's not. But I'm probably one of the reasons, because I was always that daring child of hers that was kind of just like, I'm just gonna go do it anyway. And she used to be like, "Oh my God, Imani, why?" Because I want to. It just looks like fun. But yeah, I probably should have definitely just let her know what was going on. But I mean, I just felt like, like I said, we were in the church. What could have possibly any issue? But that's pretty much it for this story, guys. No, I did not get my ass whooped. Did I get grounded? Yes, I did get grounded. Still don't believe I should have got grounded for praising Jesus. But I mean, hey. But that's pretty much it for this video, guys. I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you guys next time in the next Vlogmas.